Video, we're going to look at how to set up and solve proportions. So a proportion is a pair of equivalent ratios or fractions. And when solving proportion problems, the key is setting up a template. So we're going to look at an example, and then we'll look at a few more different types of proportion problems we might see. The example says Mr. Nigel has a fleet of 56 vehicles. He has 5 Bentleys for every 3 Aston Martins. How many Aston Martins does Mr. Nigel own? Okay, so we're going to take this basic ratio of 5 Bentleys for every 3 Aston Martins. So it's really important you put in the units, at least a letter. So 5 Bentleys, 3 Aston Martins. Right? So if he had 50 Bentleys, he'd have 30 Aston Martins. If he had 10 Bentleys, he'd have 6 Aston Martins. That ratio is going to stay constant. And then we're going to take 5 and 3 and add them together and get 8. We're going to put that in a box underneath the ratio. Now you won't always need to use this box, but it's a good habit to get into of putting it in. So 8 total vehicles, right? So generally in proportion problems, you're going to always have these 3 pieces of information. And then you're going to have one more piece of information that you're going to need to solve the problem. In this case, it's that Mr. Nigel has a fleet of 56 vehicles, right? So we're going to put that 56 over here on the right, across from the piece of information it corresponds to. So 56 is vehicles. It's not Bentleys, it's not Aston Martin, it's the total number of vehicles he has. So we're going to put that in a box across from the box that says 8 total. If the 56 were Bentleys, it would go up here, across from Bentleys. If it were Aston Martins, it would go here, across from Aston Martins. But it's not, it's total. Now once you set it up, you're going to look for the multiplier, or the scale factor. So we have 8 and 56 as corresponding pieces. Now all we have to do is think 8 times what is 56? And that is 7. So that is our multiplier. So basically we're asking for 7 of this basic blend. 5 Bentleys, 3 Aston Martins, 8 total. Well, if he has 56 total, then he has 5 times 7, 35 Bentleys. And to answer the question, how many Aston Martins does he have? 21. Okay, we're going to look at this number 4 to show how you can solve proportion problems when it asks for percent. A jar of marbles contains only purple and green marbles. There are 11 purple for every 9 green. So right there, I'm going to set that up as a ratio. 11 purple, 9 green, and then I'm going to remember to add those 2 pieces together to get 20. 20 total. What percent of the marbles in the jar are purple? Now in this problem there's not another number, but we know percent means out of 100. So percent is always asking you if there were 100 total, how many of this part would there be? So we're going to put this 100 total over here. And now we can see that our multiplier in this problem is 5, because 20 times 5 is 100. And so we can get the percent that are purple. 11 purple out of 20 would be 55 purple out of 100. And 9 green out of 20 would be 45 green out of 100. So our answer here would be 55%. Alright, let's take a look at this student-created problem here, number 5. Is this one we're going to use a method called back it up, stack it up. So Erica M has 10 pairs of jeans for every 8 pair of sweatpants, right? So 10 jeans, 8 sweats, and that's 18 total. If she has 81 bottoms of the 2 types, so 81 total, how many pairs of sweatpants does she own? Well, 81 is not a multiple of 18. So what we can do here before we look for the multiplier is we can back up this original ratio, meaning simplify it, right? Because it's not simplified. 10 over 8 can be simplified to 5 over 4. So let's simplify this original ratio. And now for the total, instead of 18, we have 9, 5 plus 4, or 18 divided by 2. And now we can stack it up because 9 does go into 81 9 times. So now we see what the multiplier would be. And we can see how many pairs of sweatpants does she own. 4 sweatpants times 9, she would own 36 sweats and 45 jeans. All right, we're going to take a look at one more type of proportion. So in a proportion, cross products are always equal. And here are some examples to show that that works. 8/12, that simplifies to 2/3, and 20 over 30 also simplifies to 2/3. And you'll notice if we multiply 12 times 20, we get 240. And if we multiply 8 by 30, we also get 240. So that is a principle in math of proportions or equivalent fractions. If you multiply the diagonals, what I like to call the butterfly wings, they're always going to be equal. We'll look at one more example. Over here, 9 times 21 is 189, right? 20 times 9 is 180, 1 times 9 is 9, so 189. And 7 times 27, if you do that out, you also get 189. And those are equivalent fractions, right? 7 times 3 is 21, 9 times 3 is 27. So we can use this principle of math that cross products are always equal to solve if we have an unknown in our proportion. So 5/8 is equal to some number over 18. So what we can do is draw out our butterfly wings, and we know that those cross products are equal. So we know that 5 times 18, the red wing, which is 90, 5 times 18, that's going to equal the blue wing, 8 times m. So we'll write that as 8m. And now, if 8 times m equals 90, we can divide 90 by 8. I didn't need that equal sign there. I'm going to put it down here. 8m divided by 8 is just 1m, and over here 90 over 8. So you could do the long division on that. I'm going to do it as an improper fraction. 8 goes into 90 11 times, that gets me 88, and there's 2 left over, so 2/8 or 1/4. I just simplified 2/8 to 1/4. Or you could do it like this, 90 divided by 8. And if you do that long division, you'll get 11.25, 11 and 1/4. Either of those would be acceptable answers for m, 11.25 or 11 and 1/4. And note that if the cross products are not equal, ratios don't form a proportion. That's sort of the inverse of this principle. So let's do one more with the butterfly method. Here we have 2/3 equals x over 7. So 2 is a little bit less than 3. X is going to be a little bit less than 7. But let's find out exactly what it is. So the blue wing that's complete, we have 14, 2 times 7. The green wing, we have 3 times x, so 3x. And now we can divide 14 by 3. and get x equals 14 over 3, which equals 4 2/3.